What's your reaction to the justice that he nominated today?
I'm honestly not surprised by his choice, but that's just worse for us.
I just saw the pick and I was like, it's almost at a point where you kind of expect that it's not going to be what you want.
He's quite, extreme in his views, and I don't know if it would make the Supreme Court very even.
He is quite extreme, that imaginary pick that hasn't been named yet. Anyway, college students outraged already over the president's Supreme Court nominee. The only issue, he doesn't have a nominee yet.
That's right. Campus Reform's Cabot Phillips is here with more on his interviews on the street. Cabot, did you expect that people would... did they just not know? Are they assuming? Help us out.
I think it's a mix of the two, where some people, they feel a pressure the second they hear the word Donald Trump to come out and show the world, look, I hate Donald Trump every bit as much as the next person, and they come out with these strong opinions. Other people, I think they just want to go along with the flow and make themselves sound intelligent and smart. But I think most of it does come from this bias against President Trump. No one's saying you have to support everything he does or come out and cheerlead him on for everything. But I do think that as Americans, we should give him a chance and let him at least make decisions before we're opposing them. And these are the people, keep in mind, who consider themselves to be the most open-minded, the most tolerant. They had some other opinions
This is right here in New York City, right?
This is right here in New York City. They had some other opinions on when compared to President Obama's Supreme Court decisions. I think some people are going to appreciate.
Get the opinions of what people actually want.
Do you think President Obama listened to the opinions of the people when he nominated 2 Supreme Court justices?
I was young then.
You should have some balance. You shouldn't just be all on one side.
President Obama did pick 2 liberal justices, though.
But now it's all conservative.
It's so interesting. Everything is through the lens of, do I like this president or do I dislike this president?
It's exactly what it is. It all has to do with partisan politics. I think much of this comes in from what we're seeing in the class, where people are constantly inundated with these ideas of how President Trump is horrible. And this is nothing new. We covered it at Leadership Institute's Campus Reform students earlier in the year. During the State of the Union, we asked them before his speech, how did he do? And everyone said, oh, it's the most racist speech that I've ever heard. And so people very quick where they want to come out and oppose everything he does. And also, I think an interesting little tidbit there, every person I spoke to all assumed that Trump was going to pick a man. They all said...
I was going to say, who is it? Who are they referring to?
There was an imaginary figure. They all said, this guy he picked, he's the worst new justice we've ever had. Someone said that this is now the new most racist member of the government since Andrew Jackson.
How many people knew that he hadn't picked anybody yet?
We had one person that wouldn't give an answer. They said, well, I'm not entirely sure about this. I don't know if I should actually come out and give an opinion, which was probably the smartest answer we got all day.
Oh, Cabot, it's frightening.
Thanks,
all right,
Cabot.
good to have you as always.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Welcome back. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are now under fire from the left over their handling of President Trump's feud with Maxine Waters. A letter signed by about 200 black female leaders and allies, meaning men, blasts Pelosi and Schumer for distancing themselves from the Congresswoman after she advocated the harassment of Trump officials. Their letter reads in part, and I quote, "Disparaging or failing to support Congresswoman Waters is an affront to her and black women across the country, and telegraphs a message that the Democratic Party can ill afford, that it does not respect black women's leadership and political power, and discounts the impact of black women and millennial voters." Not clear what millennial voters have to do with this, but maybe we'll get to that. Have they not heard a single thing Congresswoman Waters has said recently? Joining us now with reaction, radio talk show host and Fox News contributor Kevin Jackson, along with Erica Thomas, a Democratic state representative for the state of Georgia. Thank you both for joining us. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. Maxine Waters has said in Peach 45, she's talked about harassing Trump supporters. She said, shoot straight, be careful, the wounded animal. Yet we can't criticize her. And these leaders say that she hasn't been defended sufficiently. What do you make of this?
I say, what a great time to be a conservative in America, Pete, to watch the Democrats finally eat their own, and it's in public view. Look, Maxine Waters has been one of the most incendiary people on the Democrat side. She's now firmly representative of the left, and I can see why Schumer and Pelosi would distance themselves from her, because she is strange beyond definition. And, you know, look, she's reaping what she sowed over the years. So her wanting to impeach President Trump, who's done an amazing job for blacks, while watching those numbers drop. And that's what Pelosi and Schumer have watched. They've watched the black population slowly shift towards the Republicans. They've watched this walk-away movement from the Democrats take form. They've watched Hispanics. We've seen the latest polls on them. They're for Trump. The millennials are for Trump. Women are for Trump. And the reason is very simple. Trump has performed. And looking at his record in comparison to Barack Obama, and Maxine Waters is living on the muscle memory of that, you're seeing the outcome.
Erica, so obviously President Trump has taken on Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters has also said some very incendiary things about him and Trump supporters. Why does a letter like this have to focus on discounting the impact of black women, that this is an affront on black women, whether she was black or white or Hispanic? The things she says about this president are worthy of fair critique. So why does this letter go straight to identity politics?
You know, thank you for that. But first, I want to go back to what Kevin Jackson said and how, you know, there's polls out there saying that Hispanics are now more for Republicans and how black women are now more for Republicans. I'd like to see where those polls are coming from. That's not what I said. Because I don't know any Hispanics that I could talk to right now that are more for Trump and that are shifting towards Republicans in this state.
It's not who you've talked to.
I would love for you to tell me where the facts are, because I don't like fake news at all.
Support for the president amongst Hispanics has increased 10% over the last month. That's a fact from a poll, a Harris poll. But carry on. I asked you a question about identity politics. Why is this about her gender and her race, as opposed to the calling out harassment of Trump supporters, which has nothing to do with race?
So I want to say I am not saying that inciting harassment to any person is what we need to be doing. Not at all. We need to be denouncing harassment. Every time I'm on Fox News, I have so many different people that do not like my difference in opinion, that are always on my Facebook, my Instagram, saying things that are threatening me. But I let them have their free speech, because that is the #1 amendment. I let them have their free speech because they are entitled to that. But I will never say at any point, you can't have your free speech, because I don't agree with what you're saying. And at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we let people have their free speech.
Well, Erica, so Chuck Schumer answer the question. I'm happy to answer the question, P, because she won't.
Yes.
The reason why they played the race card is because that's all they've got. Maxine Waters and the congressional black, I call them the congressional black circus clowns, are driving blacks and other Democrats from the party because of the things that they're doing. That Maxine Waters essentially put a target on all of the Trump administration employees and said it's okay to go after these people because their opinions differ. That's the crux of this whole thing. Maxine Waters and the left don't want our opinions to be heard, and the only way they can get any traction
is to say,
are you calling
black people clowns? Because I just heard you say that black people are clowns. That's what I heard you say.
It's a racial issue.
No, he's talking about the caucus. He's talking about the caucus.
Please tell me who is a clown. I would love for you to know who is a clown in this. And tell me how the Republican Party has helped you as a black man,
Do you think Maxine Waters is a good representative for the modern Democratic Party? Does she help your side?
So what I would like to say is that Congresswoman Maxine Waters has her opinion, and she has her freedom of speech.
Of course.
And I do not believe that Chuck Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer, I will tell him, I will say what his name is, he should not be on the Senate floor denouncing his own party member.
He called her un-American. He said what she said was un-American.
Was right.
He got free speech
that
rights
was not
as well,
right in any way.
But you're okay with him saying it, but he said what she said,
just
Erica,
like I don't think Kevin Jackson should be calling black people clowns.
Listen, Chuck Schumer said what many Americans in this country think, and he said his opinion as well, that Chuck Schumer has no obligation to take up for Maxine Waters when she essentially puts a target on the backs of the Trump administration and any other conservative in this country. And I repeat, Maxine Waters and the Congressional Black Caucus are nothing but a bunch of circus clowns, and it's time that people start calling them out. And blacks in America that have been formerly Democrats are leaving the party for that reason.
You're a black man, so tell me who's representing you in Congress. that's black.
I don't need people representing me in Congress about being
my
black.
question to you, Eric, is why does skin color have to represent representation?
Exactly.
I think Tim Scott's a black man from South Carolina who I think represents my interests very well, just like white men and black women. And why is that the definitive characteristic of the left
That's all they have.
No, I'm asking him. Since you want to call people out of their names and say that black people are clowns, I would love to know how you are being represented in Congress. How are you being represented, Kevin? Because I will not sit here on this television show and let you call black people clowns. I won't have it.
That's an oversimplification, but we're going to have to leave it right there. Thank you both for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
It's fact.